Welcome once again to the Late Night Big Breakfast. It's a real pleasure having you with us. Jace, Jeremy, my co-host. What a series it's been, and it's not over yet.
No,
I'll tell you right now.
not.
If you've got any shots of the moon or anything like that, send them in. Your selfies, you name it, send them in. We'd love to see it.
We've had quite a few selfies sent in too. We very much appreciate those, and not as many moose knuckles and camel toes as the last series.
Which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing, I think. You know,
let's bring up a couple of those selfies just to click through them.
Yeah.
As you say, not too many moose knuckles and camel toes, and that is a good thing, Jeremy. We are a family show.
Perhaps that one shouldn't have made it, though.
Perhaps that one shouldn't have. But what a show we do have. I'm looking forward to some music later on from Sonic Groove, a Huntley 5-piece. They'll be playing a Kiwi classic. We've got Astor and Craft Corner, of course.
Yeah, always love the stuff that Astor does.
And
you know, it's certainly been a big part of our show and been hugely popular too. So many good ideas, so little time.
Yeah. But before all that, let's go to this thing and come back with our first guests.
It's going on tonight.
New Zealand-Chinese trade relations are at an all-time high. A number of Chinese dairy companies coming over to New Zealand looking at buying up New Zealand dairy farms. So it's a great pleasure to welcome to the Late Night Big Breakfast Leung Biao, dairying consultant from the Chinese dairying giant Sepang. Thank you very much for coming on our show, first of all, Leung. What makes New Zealand dairy farms particularly appealing to Chinese companies?
为什么新西兰市场，对中国有吸引力？
众所周知，新西兰在奶制品上，本次来了解一下奶品市场。
Sorry, are you going to translate that, what he said, back to us, or?
我要不要翻译给你？
Oh, sorry. Are you translating his translation there? Are you translating that question or the original? Is that the original answer?
我现在要不要直接翻译给你，或者是直接翻译那个问题？
So I think what Lee was saying or what Jeremy was saying, are you translating what Jeremy was saying to you?
Do you need
are
me
you
to
going
translate?
to translate
I think
his
she only
answer
listens to
us?
me. She's translating what I'm saying.
Let Jeremy
So what
ask
Jason
us.
just said is, are you translating what I said, or are you actually saying something back to us?
Good question.
我是不是要直接翻译给你，还是说直接回答问题？
直接翻译给我好了。
Fascinating.
Certainly sounds positive, but Jace?
With regards to farming, because us Kiwis, we love our farming, out the back paddock, get in behind, sit down Rex and all that sort of palaver. Are the Chinese as passionate about farming in terms of the well-being of livestock, the distribution of acreage, silage, hay?
Yeah, a good question there, Jace. I might just translate that if I can for a guest's behalf. There's a lot of Kiwisms in there that they may not understand.
Sure.
So actually, you should be asking the question. Could you ask that question in a more of an international format?
Do Chinese people like farms?
中国人喜欢干农活吗？
中国人一直很勤奋，所以中国当然喜欢这个牧场以及这个农作物。
他就是说，新西兰中国人很多人都知道新西兰，也知道新西兰奶制品。
Hold on, I don't speak Mandarin.
Yeah, I'm just wondering
I missed
whether or
that.
not
Do you wanna
we're a
translate?
translator short here.
She doesn't translate you, Jace. Okay.
No.
If you want to translate back his stuff from Mandarin, yeah, okay. So if you want to, you know Chinese, Jeremy? You no, okay. Look,
Sorry, this getting slightly confusing.
So scratch what Lee said.
Whatever I'm just saying now, don't translate that and go back to the original.
my
it's going to be very hard, of course, to know what part of is admin. And what part is actually a legitimate question? We need kind of almost a signal for that. I think if Jeremy just takes the proper questions and we don't get translated at all, that's probably going to be...
在中国有很多奶制品产品，中国也有自己的牧场。
Now, you see, I think he was responding to what you were saying earlier as opposed to what Jeremy said.
How would you know that, though?
Well, I just got a feeling and an inkling
I
from
felt
what he said.
it sounded interesting then, didn't it?
Yeah.
Look, we're just going to leave it here for a moment and regroup slightly. Thanks to our guests for coming on. It certainly is a relationship that's growing and one that is going to be nurtured over the years, no doubt. I really appreciate your input there.
Please speak here.
Oh, you do speak English?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Great to see you. All right, after the break.
I'll just interrupt you there. Coming up now, we've got You Want It, We've Got It. So let's get to it, shall we, lads?
You don't need to translate that. It's a sign-off.
All right.
Hello and welcome to You Want It, We Got It, the part of the show where we have used, loved and pre-loved goods and services, and we barter and trade them with you, the viewer.
And we hope this will be the piece de resistance of this whole sale. It's the Gentle Annie WF10 550 colonic irrigation unit. We've talked a lot about it on this show. Basically, it's the Gentle Annie washing machine converted simply and safely into a colonic irrigation unit. The pipes come simply out of your backwash there, and we have this adapter which is suitable for most users.
What's the water rating on that, Lee?
The water rating, 4.5.
4.5. So that's a quadruple A.
It's a quadruple A colonic irrigation unit.
In terms of your wash, Lee, because with your normal washing machine, you can have your super wash, you can have your eco wash, so people can actually determine what level of water is pumping through.
That's dead right, Jason. You're dead right there. With earlier models, the Gentle Annie, as you know, was far from gentle, and it wasn't one for the faint-hearted. You put that on power spin or jet wash, you're certainly going to know about it, and you're going to certainly put you off. But we have this safety release valve, which should things go slightly awry, a lot of that water will be expended out of the machine and yourself in quick time.
And are people able to adjust if, for example, they wanted a different end for in terms of the contact area?
Oh, certainly. As you can tell, these nozzles, or adapters as we like to call them, are interchangeable, and I suggest in your family you probably each have your own adapter there if you've got family and friends at the batch. So that's the W4550 Gentle Annie colonic irrigation unit.
Well, what price your health?
Well, put it this way, the washing machine itself is worth $1,200. With all these attachments, the technology, a lot of it is from NASA, which we've put in there, probably brings the value up to around about 2.5, I'd say, $2,500. But if I could just add, you can still do washing in it. Not while someone's having a procedure, obviously, but it can be used for straight washing or for colonic irrigation, just not at the same time, that's all. Price, as I say, 2.5.
Very generous.
Well, that pretty much wraps up the show. Back to us guys in the studio.
Whoa! Coming up, survival tips from Jamie Fitzgerald and the Kiwi classic from Huntley 5-piece Sonic Groove.
New Zealanders, by their very nature, are pioneers. In a sense, we're pioneers here, doing the first ever television show from a furniture store. But joining us now on the couch is another pioneer of television in a way, Jamie Fitzgerald. Welcome to the show, Jamie.
Yeah, oh, hi guys. It's I guess I'm 70% excited about being here. It's
well,
great.
we're the other 30, so don't worry about that.
I'll tell you what happened to me once. I got lost in the bush.
Fantastic. Just joining us, we're here with Jamie Fitzgerald. We're talking survival, pioneering, all things like that. I want to take you back a little bit and talk about your Atlantic rowing expedition.
Yeah.
There's that old saying, strange things happen at sea. And obviously, you know, there's so many films of...
Like Mutiny on the Bounty.
I was kind of thinking more Brokeback Mountain, to be honest. Sort of a nautical version. I mean, Brokeback Mountain on the sea kind of thing. I mean, at what stage do you look at your rowing partner and say... If he doesn't say anything, I don't say anything. Those seabirds aren't going to say anything. You know, at what stage what time?
I didn't think about that so much.
Never thought about eating them or anything like that. I mean, often people in these situations.
Good question.
There were two other guys from the UK once, where mid-ocean one guy turned to the other, and he said, "About your wife and I."
You joking?
Oh no.
I'm not kidding you. They didn't finish the race.
He'd eaten his wife.
He probably. They never finished the race together.
A lot of detail.
They never finished the race together.
We back after this little infomercial. You know, there's nothing better than drinking beer at a cost-effective price. And with my new Williams Warren beer machine, I can make the freshest beer in just 7 days. You can make stouts, lagers, ciders, and now my new favourite, Wakachangi Lager. These guys are the only ones I can trust to get Uncle Kenny's secret recipe just right. Put the fun back into beer, get some mates together and get yourselves one of these puppies. So get yourself a Williams Warren beer machine and tell them I sent you.
It's warm, it's cold, you're hot. You get it in your mouth. Wakachangi.
Yeah, well done.
In all seriousness, though, and I do ask this question in all seriousness, numbnuts.
Oh, I thought you were going to go into infomercial then.
Have you got something for that?
You must have had some serious numbnuts. Rowing for that length of time, and serious arse pain.
Stuff happens. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you should say that because Lee's great uncle, Han, wasn't it? Ha. He actually used his testicles as a...
he sat on them.
As a navigational device.
Like a sextant. Like a primitive sextant. He would hang his testicles over the bow of the boat, and the gentle breezes, atmospheric pressure changes, obviously are detected in one or both your testicles, depending on how good a navigator you are. And he was able to navigate all around the Hauraki Gulf with that kind of method. Is that
just a Southern Hemisphere thing?
Oh, it's just actually Auckland Harbour. Oh. He didn't really go beyond the bridge in a lot of cases because the boat wasn't really big enough to be going out.
Bounty.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just joining us, we're here with Jamie Fitzgerald. We're talking survival, pioneering, all things like that.
Jace, while we're talking survival, I know you at certain times are a big advocate in drinking your own urine.
Yes. Have you heard that?
Not just for survival, for health, the health benefits.
Well, it's not so much drinking your own urine, urinating on your own feet and hands.
Oh, and yeah, back in the rowing days, plenty of people said that, sort of toughen the skin up or something.
And obviously, if you don't have any clear eyes and you're going on TV or something, you can urinate in your eyes as well, and that can often clear them up.
Yeah.
To a degree. It puts a sparkle back in there for sure. Hey, all the best with the show. I know it's going to be fantastic. As always, I love your stuff, and give our best to Kevin as well. And perhaps we can get him on the show as well next time. All the best with the series, and I'll catch you next time. But we've got more to do on the show. What's coming up after this thing?
Esther, what are you making there?
Oh, beautiful topiary. Look at this, isn't it marvellous?
It looks like a...
chicken.
A chicken.
It is, a chicken topiary. Marvellous, very skilled.
Brilliant. Well, let's actually cross over to Lee, who's out in the car park. He's making his own jandals.
That's right, Jeremy. I'm in the car park and I'm making jandals. We all love them, but boy, they've got expensive over the last few years, haven't they? So I'm going to make my own. They're made from recycled products, plastic, rubber, all that sort of stuff you find around home. Just recycle it, melt it down, and use it as the paste, if you like, to make your jandals. You're going to need a jandal mould, and I've got one here. And as you can see, the thickness of the mould will dictate what kind of jandal you're going to get. Is it a walking jandal, a dress jandal, or a real power jandal? Okay, now, my paste has been melted down here. I've got all sorts of items in there. I've got plastic goods, rubber goods, things from around home. Old Bic pen, doesn't work anymore, chuck it in there. Kids' rubber ducky, they've grown out of that. Anything plastic, really. Kids' Lego, pop it in there. And how about those old milk containers, eh? Whack them in there. And also a plastic bag it came in from the shop. Pop it all in there, and stir it in. I'm gonna reduce that into a paste. Now, a lot of people ask me, how do you make the saddle or the jandal straps that go on top of the jandals? Well, it's a little bit tricky, so what I tend to do, I actually just get another pair of jandals and pull them off there, like that, and I'll save that for my jandals, and I've got an extra jandal, might as well put it in there as well. That really is a good feeling that comes from knowing that you're recycling and doing something good for the environment, and you'd know all about that, Esther.
Oh, that's right. I can appreciate that, Lee. Yeah.
Take it over to your mould, and what you need to do, you just scoop it out, get it all in there. You smell that plastic and rubber, that burnt smell. It's lovely. Well, around about now, you want to put your little toe guards or your saddle in, a jandal saddle. You pop it in there. Now watch what happens. We take it, our mould, and pop it in our preheated jandal press. There you go. Just a matter of time now. Well, time to check on that. Still running a little hot there, but there you go. Homemade jandals using a mould, the jandal press, and everyday recyclable items from home. Bit of Lego there hasn't quite been absorbed, but that'll happen if I just ran the heat a bit longer and you're ready to go. Be sure to tune in next week when Asta's got some great tips on how to get rid of burnt rubber and plastic residue from the bottom of a two-handed steel pot. But until then, let's meet you guys in the studio.
Well, we all love Kiwi music, don't we, Jason? I know you're a huge fan.
Big fan. Your Dave Dobbins, your Headless Chickens,
your coup d'etat, your coconut rough.
Certainly.
Well, Lee's actually over in Haberdashery at the moment with a great Kiwi band who are performing a Kiwi classic. Is that right, Lee?
Thanks, guys. Well, there's a band called Sonic Groove from Hamilton who are taking the country by storm at the moment. What are you going to play today for us, Richard?
Well, a song, but the rest of the band's not here.
How do you mean they're not here?
John's working late, and I think Greg's looking after the kids. So, did we reschedule this for another time?
Not really, no, because this is kind of the only slot we've got. This is kind of your Sonic Groove's big chance to be on TV. I tell you what, I think would prefer if you just got on with it, actually, and you just play what you normally play, okay? So what are you playing again?
Why Does Love Do This to Me by the Exponents.
Okay. Well, here we have Richard Murray from Sonic Groove playing that classic from the Exponents. Take it away, Richard. What a song, what a song. And what a tight band.
Yeah, very tight. I'd actually be intrigued to hear the whole ensemble for that band there. I'd imagine they got quite a
You can
good
imagine
sound.
that the whole five-piece would certainly fatten that sound up
Yeah.
quite a lot. But what a great version.
It was
certainly
fantastic.
great pace. Hey, how are the Sandwich Buddies going, by the way?
Amazing, actually. The Sandwich Buddies are trucking out the door. In fact, they can't produce enough of them.
Is that right?
It turns out, yeah, they've done a first run of 1,000, and they've had to have done another run of another 1,000. So, yeah, we can't make those fast
Just joining us, if you missed it earlier episodes, the Sandwich Buddy, of course. Jeremy is the contraption that we're selling that enables you to eat a sandwich while you're doing other things.
Yeah, getting on with your day and
Important
your bits
tasks.
and pieces.
You can be writing. You can basically cut your lunch time down to nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
absolutely.
We don't need lunchtime, do you?
No.
Basically, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, coming up, we've got our health tips with Deborah Fairfax.
Great.
Look forward to that. You got any issues, text them in now. We might be able to get them into the show. Who knows?
I think we should get to it right now, lads. What do you say?
Health is a
Our
huge
next
election.
guest is Deborah Fairfax, who is a family health advocate for Waitakere Health. She is a conduit between the government organisation and local schools. Welcome, Deborah. Tough job for anyone, one would suggest, a really controversial area.
Yeah, it can be. It has its challenges, but it's really rewarding as well.
Yeah.
What are the big health issues that we're seeing at the moment? Obviously, smoking, alcohol, but obviously there's a lot of issues with children, isn't there?
With children, the impact of poverty that it has on families, that's a big thing we're trying to get through with what's available for families.
Speaking of issues, sorry to interrupt you there, and you, Jeremy, look like, and you too, to an extent, Deborah. There's an issue at the moment with regards to breastfeeding in public. Obviously, family health, you'd be encouraging women to get to breastfeed their children.
Not specifically the organisation I'm with now, no. I mean, obviously I was an advocate for that, but now I'm more working with families accessing what's available to them.
But if you
through
were
the
still
health
focusing
system.
on the breasts or breastfeeding to make them
Well,
more
I believe
specific.
that if the mother is capable and that's her choice, she should be allowed to do it, yes. If that...
Deborah, if I can just bring this discussion back to personal health again.
I might just interrupt you there, Jeremy. Hi, I didn't see you there. Struggling to find a use for that noisy old fax machine? Well, struggle no more. With fax converters, you can do what I did and convert that noisy fax machine into a handy towel or toilet roll dispenser. With many of the now redundant communication functions, you can keep track of how much toilet paper or how many paper towels you use from anywhere in the world. So before you toss that old fax in the bin, wait and call Fax Converters. And tell them I sent you.
Thanks very much, Lee. Just getting back to your initial point, actually, Jace. You
Actually, if
were
I can just come back on your point. Oh, was that Jason's point, was it?
I was going to get back to Jace's initial point.
It was initially my point.
You made the point?
I made the point.
What was the point?
It was his initial point. And I was
Okay.
going, you had a secondary point.
Okay, so you come on the secondary point.
Yeah.
Jace, your initial point and Lee's secondary point did go on from that, but your initial point was...
It's a good point, though.
But, you know, I just want to make the point, if I can, Deborah, you know, with regards to the whole breastfeeding controversy, you know, if you were to walk down the street and see a man breastfeeding a child in the bus stop, you wouldn't think twice about it, would you?
I probably would.
I probably
I
not
think
twice,
you
but
would.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
With that, is this an issue?
Well, we're talking about it on television, Lee, so yes, it is an issue.
I suppose that does make it an okay. Point taken. Can you raise a baby on orca milk?
No. A human baby?
I mean, they're mammals. We're mammals. I mean, could you raise a man-child on orca milk?
I'd say it'd be more a question of extraction would be the issue rather than whether.
Well, I'm
or
not saying to be
you
taken
could.
from the teat.
Are you farming these orca, Lee? Is that what you're saying?
Well, if you didn't take it from the teat, where would you be taking it?
That's
Well, it
right.
had to be extracted
well,
from the teat.
Well
at some
pointed
point.
out, Jace. Where would you get it from?
Well, the baby wouldn't
Like
be
a
taken from the
farming
teat. You couldn't
environment.
take a baby to Marine World or something.
Well, you're going to put it in a cage
Well, you would
with
take a
some
baby
water?
to Marine World.
No, what I'm saying is to get the milk out. I mean, this is like condensed milk. This stuff. It's very thick and it's high in protein, high in sugar.
It was more
a
a thing of extraction that I was thinking about. So, because an orca's not a small animal.
They're mammals.
Mammal, sorry.
I mean, to take the other mammals, I mean, I know for a fact that koala milk is also high in protein.
But
and in
hang on, they're
sugar.
marsupials, aren't they?
Koalas are.
Yeah.
They're bears, aren't they?
Well, yes, but they're marsupials.
Yeah.
Deborah, thanks for coming on the show. And we'll see you again next week.
Thanks.
Take care.
Right here, right now. We're getting it on. Get on.
Welcome back to the Late Night Big Breakfast. This, of course, is our second to last show. Next week, of course, being the final show.
Unbelievable, isn't it? It's just, this whole series has just flown by so quickly. I've had so much fun. I can't believe it's the last show next week.
Yeah.
It's,
That's right.
You know, so it makes me feel quite sad.
We should really
Ep9.
save that for the last step. If you know what I mean, that we've factored spaces for that.
This is still the end of Ep9.
You know what I mean? Well, that's,
Ep10 next week, we've got Prime Minister John Key and David Cunliffe on this couch.
Big debate going on here.
That's only 3 days out from the election,
That's
isn't
right.
it?
And that's why they're coming on here.
Yeah,
it's one of the last platforms they're going to have before the big election on the Saturday. So if you need to know anything about those guys, the major parties, before the big day, you need to be watching this
If
special.
you haven't made up your mind yet, well, that'll be the episode to do it.
That's right. So thank you very much. We'll see you again next week.
Goodbye.
Well, that's it for the show. Thanks very much for watching. This episode brought to you by Manflutazole.
It's going on tonight.
Thanks, New Zealand On Air, you sexy thing.